At some point, the Swedish Migration Board said that if I'm able to prove that I had left Islam, I'll be granted asylum. Which made me think, how can I prove that I'm no longer a Muslim? What is the one thing that no Muslim would ever do under any circumstances? And since essentially my current convictions are the renunciation of my form of faith, there is no better act to demonstrate that than desecrating a copy of the Quran, which is considered the highest form of blasphemy in Islam. And at the end of this video, I will be burning the Quran. My name is Omar Makram. I was made in Egypt. I don't like to say that I'm from Egypt because maybe this puts a lot of expectations about who you are. I had to leave Egypt because of my views on religion, more specifically Islam. I'm very vocal about my criticism, and I encountered problems with both people and the police, the authorities, as well, when they knew about my views. So I had to leave as soon as I could. My early childhood, I was used to read a lot. This is one of the things that my father encouraged me to do. And I went to private school where everything was taught in English. So I was fluent in English, and that helped me to read material, or let's say intellectual produce, that it's outside of my culture. Then it kind of broadens your horizon somewhat. And then you start to question everything, basically. And at some point I decided that I want to know more about this religion around which everything in my society is built. And then I started to study the scripture, the Quran, the hadith, and so on. Yeah, at some point it was just not convincing reason-wise. And for me, a person with my values, I found it very hard to reconcile those values of mine with the teachings of the religion. So at some point I was, this is not making any sense whatsoever. My name is Omar Makram. I'm an ex-Muslim atheist from Egypt. I faced threats from both individuals and the authorities on account of my views on religion, which are punishable under the Egyptian blasphemy law. In Egypt, as many other Muslim-majority countries, atheists and ex-Muslims and anyone who holds unconventional views on Islam is systematically persecuted. I sought asylum in Sweden, and recently my request for asylum has been denied by the Swedish migration authorities, who, while acknowledging that atheists in Egypt are being persecuted and that they deserve asylum, they refuse to acknowledge that I am an atheist, despite the strong body of evidence I provided them with. They resorted to absurd arguments, going so far as saying that perhaps if they send me back to Egypt, I will hide or change my views. The first rejection I got was by the Migration Board, Migrationsverket. I think it was around July 2015. And then I appealed to the Migration Court. And we had even a court hearing for them to hear about my case and so on. Then I was rejected again. I tried to appeal to the Migration Court of Appeal, the higher court. but I was not granted leave to appeal. And then I got basically a deportation order. I cannot go back to Egypt because this would put my life and my freedom in danger. So I had to create reasons to demonstrate that I'm not safe to be sent there. So I made the video to address these points. I wanted to demonstrate beyond doubt that I have left Islam. Desecrating a copy of the Quran, which is considered the highest form of blasphemy in Islam. And this is what I will do now. First, some spitting, a little bit of ripping, and trampling. At first, actually, I submitted to them privately, while copying the Egyptian authorities, because one of the things that they were arguing that maybe the authorities do not know about my views. So I wanted to give them definitive proof, because I cannot obtain that proof officially from the Egyptian authorities. But then I got another rejection saying that since the video had too few views, then it's unlikely that anybody has seen it. And yeah, because it was a private video. And then I was basically forced to make it public in order to demonstrate to them, well, people have seen it. I'm aware that what I just did could anger a lot of people and could put my life in danger, even here in Europe. I think one of the things that really confuses people a lot is that they use the terms Muslims and Islam interchangeably. I've noticed it a lot with with Swedes or generally speaking sometimes with the debate in people in the West, that they use both words to mean the same thing, and this is actually very dangerous and very inaccurate. Because when I talk about Islam, I'm talking about the ideology, the religion. The religion is an ideology, and what I talk about is mainly the scripture, because what you judge the ideology by is its manifesto. In that case, it's the Quran, the Hadith, the Islamic scripture. This is what I mean about Islam. Muslims, on the other hand, they are people. They are not ideas. People are much more complex than just ideas, and Muslim people, they don't have to necessarily believe in every single thing that is in Islam. Because I know Muslim people, for example, who drink, who don't want Sharia law and all that. I know Muslim people who say that homosexuality is not necessarily wrong, and I would still call that person Muslim. But in that specific position, the person is not representing Islam. This is not Islam's position on homosexuality. And to try to claim that would be just dishonest and inaccurate. My family, for example, they are Muslim. I have many Muslim friends who I'm close with, and I love them and they love me, even though they know about my beliefs, but yeah. I have not seen my family in 6 years. It can have I think I get a wide range of emotions from it. Sometimes anger, sometimes sadness, sometimes just, being frustrated. But sometimes you just think, why? How is that possible? Or for what reason that it's not possible for us to meet? And how could this be the state of humanity today and how is this the state of Europe today and the state of Sweden? that they could separate families in that way. There isn't much to do about my case, and I believe that change could happen also for others. And there are many people who are in situations similar to mine, many people who are fleeing war and persecution, and I believe that I have to stand up for them as well, not just for myself. A lot of times I've encountered people who say, yeah, society should do that, society should take care of people, but they forget that they are society. You should take matter in your own hands, don't be passive, be active, get involved, and your voice will be heard. Each one of us have a voice, they should use it. This is, for me, for the sake of humanity and for the sake of human rights values that I value so much, and also for the sake of Sweden that I had idealized before and how I would want it to be. I would rather be in danger but free than to be safe and deprived of my freedom.
Välkommen hem till landet där ovanför, landet och folket jag skålar för, landet och laget jag vrålar för. Välkommen hem. Nu pokalen vi hissar den, flaggan vi brukade visa den, nu vi lyfter och viftar den. Välkommen hem. Från dagen jag började andas till dagen jag kom tillbaks till Arlanda. Välkommen hem. Jag sa jag svär på min